Good evening, and welcome to the St. Petersburg By Night podcasting network. Tonight, we present to you our Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle, Bloody Strings.
Welcome to another St. Pete by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to St. Pete by Night, where we play St. Petersburg by Night, a massive multiplayer tabletop role-playing game set in the world of darkness. We play Vampire the Masquerade, Hunter the Reckoning, and Werewolf the Apocalypse. I am your humble storyteller this evening, Devlin Kane, one of many junior storytellers here at St. Pete by Night. Make sure to check out our St. Pete by Night social media platforms. That includes X, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. But the thing you really ought to go check out is our website, stpbnight.com. We have a city map, storyteller profiles, and a one-of-a-kind threat meter. And if you aren't already subscribed here on Twitch or YouTube, wherever it is that you're watching this, go ahead and hit that follow button so you can go back and catch up on past episodes. But if you wanted to play with us, which I really think you do, come join our Discord. What are you waiting for? Come join this amazing community that we have helped put together. Today, we're watching Bloody Strings, one of many of the chronicles here at St. Pete by Night. I hope you enjoy the show. Let's meet our players. These are my wonderful players. Please introduce yourselves.
Hello all, my name is Noree. I'll be playing Bellatrix, the Malkavian.
I'm Kyrie, and I'm playing Grei Novak, the Toreador with big dreams.
Hello, I'm playing Maggie Haywood, the Hekata.
Hello, I'm Lekar, and I am playing Matthew Halden, the Toreador with half a plan.
Hello, I'm Truckexe, and I'm playing someone named Nicholas Baldridge.
Hey, I'm Mew, and I'm playing Sophie Clews, the Malted Milkshake Malkavian.
Fantastic. Last we left off, kind of just spent a lot of time viewing the different places that the Coterie members were attending to while they had time between larger things that called their attention. The session ended after all Rotary members were called to the Elysium by Edwin Kane. We're going to pick up where we left off. Everybody pulling up to the dolly, stepping out of their respective vehicles, and coming together at the entrance of the building. I'm going to go ahead and say the scene is yours, with the last group to arrive being the cab that came from across town with Grei and Bellatrix. Go ahead.
Nick
So what
will-
did you want? Maggie was like
Please
over
don't.
back. So where are we putting this body?
Don't worry about that right now. Let's just get inside so we can talk to Edwin and everybody else when they get here. It might work better if we don't start pulling things out of there. Yeah, he's just gonna beeline for the door.
She'll follow. Kind of giving Jarvis the look of just a minute.
I'll say the two of you spot the other vehicles pulling into the area, arriving before you enter the building.
Nick will turn to Sophie. Well, I guess you get to meet everyone else anyway. So, oh, yep, sure. Let's go meet everyone. And he'll have gone around and opened the door for her.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. That is very nice of you. And it will be wonderful to meet these people.
It'll be something.
Well, we're still in the taxi. So I let you do the talking?
Edwin's my favorite. I'm more than happy to talk to him.
Okay.
What did he say?
Look at the text. Meet at the dolly.
Nothing.
What did it say
Important.
exactly?
Basically, get to the dolly now. All of you.
Seemed urgent.
Oh, so maybe he'll be in a mood.
What if he'd be more in the mood? Show him the picture that was drawn.
Grei will get out of the cab and move around, open the door for Bella.
Climb out.
Ladies first.
Oh, thanks. I'll start heading towards the dolly.
I mean, random projectiles would definitely hit you before they'd hit me if that was the case.
Unless I dodged. Jumped out of the way, let you get hit.
But you wouldn't do that, would you?
Depends on the mood I'm in.
Noted.
You all are rounded up, respectively, brought into the building. Not taken to Edwin's office, but the conference room. Short, little walk down the hall. Edwin is not there yet. The Elysium guard, as he leaves you. Edwin had to tend to something, but he will be here soon. If you'll just wait here, and they close the door. You are all now present.
What room are we in?
The room is a kind of simple conference room, kind of backspace, nothing very too. You have a couple of like art pieces kind of strung up, but nothing quite like through the main exhibit. There's a kind of long table. There's a board at the end of the room for when they have to make presentations or something to that effect, and just chairs surrounding the table.
Grei will smile. Sophie. I don't believe we've met. Grei Novak.
Oh, no, I don't believe we have. Sophie Clews, and she puts her hand out.
Take her hand, kiss the back of it.
Yes, I saw you were also a gentleman. You let your lady friend out of the car.
Oh, I'm not sure if Bella's a friend yet. Maybe a sister.
Bella, you said. You look a little familiar.
So do you.
And yes, I don't believe I've met the other two of you as well.
Maggie. Haywood. She would hold her hand out to shake.
I'll take her hand in both of my hands and shake it.
It's a pleasure.
Matthew is sitting in the chair and he's just rocking back and forth. Eyes are bouncing around like he's looking at things that aren't there.
Ah, yes. Me of my brother.
You said you hadn't met either of them, but that means you have met Nick. Nick, you didn't tell me about her.
Well, I mean, I told Matt.
Wow. You told Matt, you didn't tell me. I'm hurt?
No, you're not.
Maybe a little, but not too much.
But yes, Sophie is the individual that I... Let's put this. You know what? It's definitely interesting. That's about as best as I can put it.
He sought me out for research.
Research?
For his book that he's writing.
Nick, you're an author. I didn't know this.
Nick just rubs at the bridge of his nose.
Is there a working title?
All the ways that one can skin a Grei.
Oh, well. I don't know that you would find very many of those. Aliens and all. Difficult to get your hands on them. Difficult to skin.
It's also very difficult to preserve human flesh, much less kindred.
Hi,
Are
I'm
there
sorry.
aliens now?
There are, I'm sure. Aliens are somewhere. Yet to meet one. Unless we're counting them as immigrants. But beyond that, I'm sure that there are aliens somewhere.
Nick will turn away. I'm sorry. Nicholas Baldridge. He'll offer his hand to Maggie.
She'll shake his hand. Maggie Haywood.
Pleasure.
So, is this about what you came to my mortuary about? Oh, and whoever it was set it on fire.
Oh, speaking of fires, I lost my phone in a fire, so if any of you need my number, be sure let me get you the new one.
How did you lose your phone in a fire, Greg?
Oh, I threw it in.
Why?
Well, it had to be crushed, destroyed, burnt, the usual.
They follow me, they might be following us too.
And if they've destroyed the place that you were just in, that's a given.
Yes, but that complicates things now.
It does, yeah.
You shouldn't just be worried about the phones. You really think they're going to stop with Matt if they don't get what they want?
Probably not. No.
Yes, that's why I suggest we all go to your wonderful safe haven that Nick has so graciously offered.
Now, hold on. Hold on.
Oh. What?
Cut my eyes
I
at
feel-
Nick.
I feel I should clarify that I mentioned meeting. Not, I am not, I did not give away.
It's in
Well,
the
you
book.
you told me you had a safe haven for that woman that was stolen, so that you could keep her safe once you have her again.
I do not remember those being my words, Miss Clews. I feel that was an implication that you were assuming.
Sophie, what do you mean, woman that was stolen?
Oh, Nick told me all about the woman that was taken by those from Chicago.
Oh, he did. That's,
Oh yes, he was very upfront about it.
that's very interesting. I'd love to know exactly how that happened.
Well, we were discussing the book that he's going to be writing, of course.
What was
And
the
it,
title of that book again? I think I have a good working title. Big Mouth Strikes Again. Yeah?
Look, I'm pursuing every avenue that I can. I'm not exactly some noir detective here.
And to look Sophie up and down in her style of dress. Are you sure you're not some noir detective?
Oh no, it's a man's job.
No, I mean, you seem to be very much the girl Friday.
Oh no, I'm not named after any day of the week. Although I did know a man named Sunday once.
Interesting.
I don't think she's into anymore.
So if you know about this woman and you know about this safe house, what was it you were hoping that Nick would do?
Oh, that we should go there as soon as possible to make sure that everyone is safe.
Absolutely not.
Which is what I was trying to press on Miss Clews, I should say. There's something greater here. There's a connection that feels just out of reach. Something important.
At that moment, the door opens. Edwin steps into the room, makes his way to the head of the table. Spots Maggie and Sophie. Kind of lingers on Sophie for a second, and then sits down.
I'll point to Nick when he's lingering on Sophie.
No, very broadly.
Sophie will wave.
Have a seat. Now, before I get into why I called you here, Miss Clews, Miss Haywood, might I ask what brings you here this evening?
You're borrowing one of my bodies. She kind of points over at Matthew.
Looks over at Matthew. Explain.
One of those bodies that got pulled. Looks like they might be related to you. So, Miss
I see you
Haywood did-
plan to... I understand.
Yeah.
Very well, but... Why are you here?
They set my mortuary on fire.
Yeah. I think, and I know, probably wasn't the best idea. I think they might be following me. At least me. I'm almost certain they're following me.
Following all of us.
You know something, Bellatrix?
They have files on things important to us, people important to us, and they're not going to stop with Matt. I'll slide over the picture in the sketchbook. Does this look familiar to you?
Yes. I will address that moment. Turns to Sophie. And why are you here?
Oh, well, I met this wonderful fellow Nick who told me about his friends in a safe place, and I also came to drop off this for you. And she reaches into her purse where she had stuffed books from earlier before Nick came to Books and Bourbon, and she pulls out a copy of Naja and pushes it across the table to Edwin. This one is just a gift. I thought you might enjoy it.
He looks at it for a moment. I appreciate the gift. I do have half a mind to ask you to leave the room, but I suppose that might not be, considering the situation, the best thing to do here.
The Maykeeper actually might be able to expound upon that a bit more. I had gone there to just have a discussion on the states that Miss Clews was in, combined with the information I'm getting from everyone else. I think it's solidifying that in some way or another she is tied to this. At the very least, her actions seem to indicate that she could be being watched too. Why, I would not know. But, and you'll look at Sophie, there does seem to be something at quite a coincidental time going on. Considering what we're learning about them following. Could be coincidental, but I doubt it.
Could have just been put a bullseye on her by standing near her, because watching us.
Oh, yes. So now you must, as a gentleman, protect me.
What is she saying that to?
And there it is.
To you, Nick, if you have made me at particular danger due to this situation, it is now your responsibility to make sure that I remain safe.
That's
As amusing as that is, I am going to address something. You going there, as much of a coincidence as that may feel might not be the case. Seems you may have already had a target on your back, Miss Clews.
Is it some other upstart singer who wishes to take my local fame?
He kind of sits there for a moment. He looks at the door behind you, and then he stands up, walks to the back of the room, and you see him turn off the camera before turning around and sitting up.
Sarah,
I'm going to
me real quick.
Sure.
May I pop Sense the Unseen to further take a look around the room?
Sure.
It's further protection.
I am going to admit something to you. And I'm going to give you some information. Information that only the prince knows. About what it is I do here. And the weight behind what it is I'm asking you to do here. And the favor that may carry for you. I work for an entity within the city that goes by the broker. They have an influence and reach that spreads from Tampa through your Anarch Zone through the city of St. Petersburg. This individual, gesturing toward the picture, his name is now drawing the blank. Give me 1 second. Truckexe. They are the second child of Kyrie Joshua. They are an enemy I made in my time in Chicago. Not me specifically, but I was working for the broker at the time. They are wanting to replace the broker here in the city and expand their sire's reach. However, unlike their sire, this individual is very temperamental and not very clever. But they're aggressive, and that is a problem for the city. Where Clews comes in the situation, he seems to have gathered a small group of resourceful allies. One of which, I still have not managed to get their name, has captured an agent of mine. And then he turns to Sophie. Looking at these individuals that came from Chicago was the task that Duncan took on when you came to the city. I have not heard from Duncan in 2 weeks. I reached out to them to give them your message. I did not get a response in a timely fashion. This likely means that he was compromised.
So you sent him right into the snake pit.
That is the charge he took.
He did send me a message on this, and she pulls out the Nokia on this device that he gave me, but I don't know how to bring it back up. If you want to see what it said. And I push it over to Edwin.
I'm afraid I don't know how to use cellular devices so much myself.
Nick will reach over and gently take it and go to find the message.
Easy enough. You find the message. It's a little coded. You're not fully sure what it means, but you could tell based on context that it likely is go to ground in some way. Get out of Dodge. Indicating that she is in some kind of danger. But then that's what Edward goes, that message... That is from my assistant, but I didn't send for that. Excuse me, Mama. He gets up and he steps out of the room. You are alone at the moment.
I don't have to say this, but I'm starting to hate the game, right? Sophie.
Is?
Do you have any idea about if someone should know that you have ties to this Duncan and who their enemies might be?
I don't think that many people around here would, but someone from Duncan's past may have found out that I'm in relation to him. It was very, I might say, foolish of Edwin to send him right into the thralls of these Chicago people. I was once living in Chicago, and I do not know the attackers' names, but I was attacked once, so it may be perhaps those same people, I'm not sure.
Would you happen to know why you were attacked?
It's quite a long story, but I was needed for something, so I was taken. Those Chicago ruffians, very very good at taking people. But yes, Duncan did sometimes mention the wet calendar, Julian.
What calendar, Julie? Is that
Yes, Julian calendar? A Julian Springs, so it's a wet calendar.
I see. Okay. Well, this reason, was it aggressive in some way? Was it to lead to so something to destroy? Use you to destroy, perhaps?
Oh, no. No. I actually created. I made quite a. Oh, but that's a very long story. But their avenue of taking was quite aggressive. These are very dangerous people if they are in any way involved with the people that I encountered. Or should I say unpeople, maybe? At the time, I did not know, though.
Bella.
They could have even been aliens, actually.
Bella, I was trying to get a read. It's Clews. I have to say it's probably one of the strangest sights I've seen. It was like an irradiated wasteland, covered in ruins and dust, and moving bones of kindred and beasts. I can't make heads or tails of it.
Sophie is very visibly uncomfortable now and has kind of gone silent.
He'll give a wink to Bella. Notices that.
I couldn't tell you.
I see. Well, either way, apocalyptic doom is not exactly unusual for kindred. I don't wonder what the ties are. Something to ponder.
Fair, now that I have a name, Jurgis and Sire Khalid, how much do I know about them?
You can give me an intelligence and politics. Or occult. I'll take either.
I'll take the occult. It's a little higher. Five successes.
He is the second eldest child of the lead. There is very little that is known about them. He has been found to have very violent outbursts, very, very temperamental. Roughly 20 years ago, pretty much radio silence. Very little is known about the individual. But with that, I'd say Kylie does like to know things that are going on in other areas. Does like to send people out to do those things. This could be the ambition of just a angry child.
And is it known how old either of them are? Even a rough approximation.
I'd say you know that the lead is pretty old. I'm not gonna. You probably won't have much of an exact or close to exact, but you know he's probably one of the oldest kindred that are still moving about, that haven't succumbed and headed east.
So this is the child of an elder.
Yes.
Gray's expression will get very dour, and he too will be quiet.
Well, no, don't everyone speak up at once. I think we got one hell of a situation on our hands.
Khalid is one of those individuals that I prefer not to know the business of.
Sounds like we're getting pulled into their business whether we want to be or not.
We don't have to be.
Don't think we're being given a choice.
There's always a choice. It's going to be worth far more than just a few boons.
Bella, do you have some opinions?
I have lots of opinions. But I'm trying to keep them quiet right now.
Fair enough. Matt, how you holding up?
I'm getting really tired of that question. All right. One, I think it's funny because it's obviously stuck in the 50s, so fallout shelter Barbie over here, notwithstanding. Right. Bella, do you have or can you get the stake shooter?
Of course I have it.
Good girl. Anyway, Nick, when you are able, I need you to do me 2 favors. One, and these priorities, put them in this order, please. Find me a building. Use your whatever to make sure it might be okay, or at least give me an approximation that it might be okay. Grei, these people, I'm guessing by what I'm getting, we're now in the outskirts of whatever disaster they're involved with.
Man, these people are not to be fucked with. Plainly put. And if they have chosen Edwin as their target, you need to give them Edwin. This ruse that you're cooking up is they're old, Matt.
Oh, so you're saying if I just wait till die of old age, cool.
No, I'm saying the same thing that I told Nick. We do not meddle in the affairs of our...
And if you...
We give them what they want and we hope they go away.
Hope.
Yes, because that's all we've got.
And what's to stop them from saying, fuck it, killing Mina, me, you, Ella, Nick, these two, just because they happen to be next to us? What keeps them from making us do more? Dancing like little fucking puppets, because, as according to Bella, they have information on all of us.
You're a security expert, right?
What's to stop them from not stopping?
You're a security expert, right? You make yourself less of a target than the next person.
I'm already a target, Grei.
You're a target because of your relationship with Edwin. That is what made you a target. That is why we are all targets.
And it's a little late to not be a target anymore.
It's never late.
I have someone that I care about being held against her will that says otherwise.
Give them what they want.
Like, we'll look at Maggie and Sophie. It's too late for that now. Right. Even if that was going to be our choice. Yes, it is. For once, I'm not the one with the big mouth.
No. It's debatable. This plan may or may not work. It is extremely risky, and when they realize what happened, they will come back with another force.
Or worse.
There's always worse.
I will suggest that hiding with these people, it doesn't work. They seem to always find you, even after many years.
But also, appeasing them makes you an easy target for later.
That's our role. That's what we are to them. We are nothing but easy targets. The idea is not to be valuable.
If you provide them, Mr. Kane, you make yourself valuable.
Yeah,
Because you
until
can
we're
give
all
them what they
ashed.
want. Yes.
Until we're
will
all ash. Sorry.
I heard you. There is no easy option here. So we probably need to find one of these plans and stick to them. Because both could lead to various forms of probably entertaining deaths. But those are always temporary.
I know the camera's off, but is this the best place to talk about plans like this?
Point in case.
Yes, we should probably move it over to a safe place.
We haven't been dismissed yet. And I don't know what plans are being discussed. But the idea that we can deceive them and not give them what they want is foolish. These are our betters in every way. Time, strength, intelligence, assets, resources, all of it. Give them what they want and hope they go away. This is why you do not meddle in the affairs of your elders.
Want to talk about elders. Nick will slowly stand. And as he does, everything about him changes. Stance, look. Being a coward, Mr. Novak, is not going to make you live longer, it's just going to make you survive. For a little bit until. There are no good options. But making such an obvious mistake is to take care of the keeper of a Camarilla city, when most likely, through multiple channels, that man has let anyone who needs to know that if he dies, it's probably your fault, is not going to be the solution. Do I make myself clear, Mr. Novak?
Nominally, Camarilla Nick, and please, whatever this act is, I don't give a shit.
I don't usually give a shit. Just need you to hear me.
You're heard. But this city isn't even truly Camarilla. It's at war with the Camarilla city.
And what about the failsafes?
What about them?
Do you know what they are? Because I don't.
I will take Edwin's failsafes over Khalid's. If it came to that.
That is not Khalid that we're dealing with.
The child is its sire. You should know that better than anyone, Bella.
Fair?
Just because I happen to like my sire and agree with some of the things he does doesn't mean that he owns me.
Child
Just-
is only their sire if they are unsuccessful in their own pursuits.
Why don't we reach out to this broker? If he's an information person in the city, maybe he has something on them.
Maybe Edwin can put us in touch. Since he works for this broker.
Or we can go other ways.
Could be interesting. As long as you have information that you're willing to trade.
I have lots of information.
Then you are well armed.
You know, to put us in a bit of a lighter mood, in the war after the Great War, we thought that we were inferior in terms of technology and everything. But with numbers, which I mean, we have here, there was quite a bit of success, and also imperfections of boron and graphene.
What was that last part?
Graphene?
Right. What do those have to do with numbers?
Oh no, just that's also why the war was won against Germany.
I see. Oh, I certainly hope we have an army in our back pocket.
Or weaknesses. I believe the imperfection she was talking about counted as a weakness for the German army. Find their weaknesses. They have obviously found ours, so they're ahead.
You said that this was the child of someone assumedly old. This age brings enemies. They may have some in the area.
Enemies that are equally old. That is the only winning move there is not to.
Too late. We're already in the game.
Then extract us and let's flip the table.
Nick, give me intelligence and aspects. And a rush check.
I am going to spin. I'm going to actually spend a willpower. But that is already a critical success. No changes yet. That's 8 successes with a crit.
Okay. You begin to focus on it. You begin to kind of, almost like you're viewing overhead. You see Edwin in a very dark space. For the first time you actually see his expression, it is not one of flat, calm demeanor. You see an expression of rage. You see his arm pushed forward, wielding a bladed cane that is currently pushed into what appears to be a young man's shoulder, pinning him to a wall. You can tell that Edwin is shouting, but you notice on the hand wielding the cane there is this weird kind of like a heat wave, kind of shimmering back and forth that seems to be expanding, radiating from the hand, expanding outward, making the audio not come through, and eventually the visual seems to be completely distorted, and before long you're forced back into the room.
That crit was able to get me?
The crit was able to get you any of that, yes.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Oh. Nick will finally speak up. Someone's getting hurt tonight. Powers of that ring is no joke. Took all I had just to get through it. Grei. Edwin is not placid. You want to talk about pissing off elders? Kane is one of them. Maybe not as old, still older than us. And right now, that man is apparently walking with a fury and stabbing some. So, whatever we decide. Take what you will.
I'm sorry, that didn't come in very clear again.
Take what you will.
I'm sorry, did you see Mr. Kane?
Oh, yes. So, that little ring of his is quite powerful. Even my sight had some trouble. Couldn't hear what he was screaming at the young man. Could definitely see the blade in his shoulder from his cane. And the rather wrathful expression on his face.
So 2 questions. 1, does he know when you do that?
Didn't seem to be the case, but I cannot be sure. That ring is unique.
Okay. So, given that you're not sure, do you think Elysium is the best place to be doing that with the Keeper of Elysium?
I think
Trouble that
considering
we're in it or not?
I think considering what you all are talking about, I think this is the lesser of 2 evils at the moment. It's actually just mainly looking to see if anyone was listening in to this little scandalous repertoire.
What do you mean, lesser of 2 evils? He already offered to do this for us. I am saying that you don't go in with this body thinking you're going to fool them. You give them what he wants.
Give them a keeper.
Yes.
Considering the lengths that we went to for this city's oracle, a keeper is maybe not quite as valuable, but pretty damn close.
Kane already agreed. We just have to wipe the slate clean with him.
I can't help but feel, do you think Edwin Kane is a stupid man?
I never said he was stupid.
You're making your plans based on that assumption.
No, I'm making my plans based on what he already agreed to.
He agreed to put himself at nominal risk with assurance that if we fuck him, we get fucked in probably magnitudinal return.
So if we do go through with it, how do we make sure he's not fucked?
Figure out the failsafes. And probably stop talking about it in Elysium.
Who cares where we talk about it?
Yeah, it's
I'm
not
trying
like
to...
trying to off him. We're not threatening to do anything permanent to him. We're conducting a bit of we're thinking of committing a crime, but it's fine because we're not actually going against Edwin.
He agreed to be staked. Yes or no?
Yes, provided that, I pretty much discuss it with everybody that we wipe our marker clean.
And that's what I'm saying. We wipe the markers clean. We let him get staked. We deliver him as we said we would do. And then we fucking remove the stake.
Yeah.
And the elders can deal with elders.
But once again, if he doesn't come back, his contingency plan goes off.
Well, then inform him beforehand.
Yes, he will just turn off or remove those contingencies.
If he's running around stabbing people, he can defend himself.
And if we can't remove the stake, because obviously these people aren't going to do it themselves.
What
then
if he's
that's
not
our
actually
failure.
staked fully? You can have a stake in yourself without it being pushed all the way in.
Finally, someone is making some sort of sense.
That was my original plan, Grei.
And then you've gone after this body, and I'm telling you this body isn't going to work. They need Edwin. They're going to know it's Edwin. Or not. They're old. Yeah, we might deceive someone as old as us, but we're not going to deceive someone as old as them.
Can they see the aura of a creature? I mean, if you have this fake Edwin, would they look at it and see that there's no living sense or unliving?
Some could. Depends on who they have working for them.
That is the thing that they can do. Yes. That is a thing that we have to consider. Yes. That's why I'm saying we're not just dealing with us. We're dealing with something bigger and badder and worse than us. And the only way we're going to beat it, like Maggie pointed out, was with something as big and bad as it is. Currently, the only thing that we could possibly side with that is anywhere near there is Cain.
There is a slight problem with that. Clearing the marker means that, the boon we gave Maggie may be cleared by Edwin too, since she's in the group.
We clear our markers. That one was already traded.
Alright, you can negotiate it.
Yeah, so much my hands. If this is what you want,
I
you can
don't
get it yourself.
like the contingency plan. If we can find a way around it, fine.
Edwin is the way around it. They're his plans. Have him write up a contingency that leaves us out of contention.
What if we do both?
Both what?
We use the body to lure them in, and Edwin, unstaked, comes up, brings up the rear. We use the body as a distraction. They won't expect him, if we can make them believe that this is Edwin long enough for Edwin to get the drop on him.
Well done, right? It's possible.
Make it
Distract
work.
him. It would remove Edwin's need to have a contingency plan since we won't actually be staking him or putting him in a box. He'll have all the free movement of his own. I like it. It's a possibility.
I think I'm liking it as well.
Do we know who we are dealing with directly? With
No.
this exchange?
No, what's his name? Jurgis? Man that sounds like a bar of soap? Yeah, Jurgis. He likes to stay in the shadows. It took a lot for me to even get a picture of his face. And that was in a vision.
So we may be dealing with underlings.
When we last scouted the place, there were 5. Nick? 5?
5.
And I don't believe he was one of them.
If we're dealing with underlings, we also lose. We have to be dealing with him.
There's also possibly Julian.
This Julian is different from your Duncan?
Yes.
This is the wet
Completely
calendar,
different.
Yes.
Yes. Duncan would know more about Julian. I unfortunately don't have much information on that. I do wish Duncan wasn't sent off on a suicidal mission. Would have benefited us greatly to have him here.
About that moment, the door opens. Edwin steps in, closes it behind him, moves back to the seat. It seems I had a leak.
Hope it's been stopped.
But you don't need to tell us that in a polite, meeting here.
An informant, Sophie. Someone on the inside providing information to those on the out.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay.
I sent Duncan to scout out an area north of the Anar territories. He insisted on going when he found out there might be a connection to Chicago. He wouldn't give me what that connection might be, but that is the task he wanted to take. He seemed to have some understanding of it, so I sent him. I was unaware of who we were dealing with at the time, and I wouldn't fully suspect until I met with one of you a few days ago. I had a run-in with this individual shortly before the Exodus. They were trying to find me because they knew I worked for the broker. Their intent is to replace them. An unnamed individual takes nothing for another individual to swoop in and claim that ambiguous name. That is likely the intention again here. But he's being much more aggressive.
He seems to have it out for you.
The
body they dressed up had already been dressed up to look like you after or before they were murdered and drowned.
He doesn't mention the broker because he's certain that I won't tell you about them.
Is there any way we can get aid from this broker?
You receive
Sure.
aid from the broker through me.
So you do more than work with the broker. You know who the broker is, and that's why they want.
I do.
That explains it. You must be one of a very people.
If there's another, I don't know them.
So then how did they find out that you know who the broker is? This leak?
Like I said, they came after me when I was still operating without the power and influence I had in Tampa. They knew me from Chicago. The broker didn't have the influence of Chicago. He wasn't trying to step on Philippe's toes, obviously, but when he made the move to Florida, I moved with him. He developed the tool that he has. Truckexe came down. The Exodus happened, he pulled away. But the Exodus also gave the broker swell in power.
This doesn't end in anything other than violence. Does it? You're not willing to budge. They're not willing to budge. This is going to be violence.
If you were moving with the weight of Chicago behind him, this would be over already. He must either be stopped, appeased, or we find a way to make him no longer able to justify the cost of the fight.
What if we did both of the first options?
I am hesitant to ask you to participate in any capacity. The only reason that I have you here is that they have targeted you because of your connection to me, and I am sorry for that.
Well,
For that,
okay.
I will wipe your slate clean. This is not anything I expected you to do, and I will not remove the boons that I owe you. In fact, if you were to participate, I will give you anything you wish. I will owe you a life boon.
Well, not a light thing to say, Mr. King.
The broker gave me everything.
Well, then may I posit?
These people, do they, how long have they had to develop local assets?
They couldn't have had a significant amount of time. They would have returned to Chicago after that during the Exodus. If what I understand is correct, the location that was taken was even belonging to an associate of theirs from Chicago.
Edwin, I tell you this because I trust you. Does the name Julian Springs mean anything to you?
That was a name of one of the individuals we suspected might be participating north of the territory. That is why Duncan decided to go forward. He heard the name, and that's why he decided to go investigate. What does it mean to you?
Duncan would know much more. I've only really heard it in passing.
I could illuminate a little. It was a name that came to me when I ran across Miss Clews, which is what started me down the road of seeing where the strings went, so to speak.
Why are you talking differently? Are you
Apologies.
doing a voice? Is this the time?
It's a long story. It's okay.
Okay.
If you'd like to talk about it, we can do it when there's less pressing. I still have a lot to look into.
Very well. Goes without saying, I do think I would no longer be comfortable with the idea of staking myself. In this regard, not that a lack of trust in you, but knowing now who we're dealing with, it is not a small chance we'd be outmaneuvered.
It's funny that you say that because I had another idea.
I'm all ears.
We go with part of my original plan of using the body to kind of trick them into thinking it's you. Meanwhile, you, not staked, can go out, play, have fun, help deal with them. Maybe participate in the festivities.
So you want to use the body to create a distraction just long enough for an advantage to be gained.
Exactly.
Outlet of your wrath, Mr. Kane, shall we say?
I think it was 3-card Monty.
When you say that, Nick, he kind of looks over at you. And you see him kind of pull his hand around the finger.
Nick will just wink at him.
I know. That I have. When you were brought to me at the recommendation of associates and Imogen, I did not know you, and I had no reason to trust you. And because of that, I have deceived you. But I do assure you, the things that I have asked you to do in that deception were to the betterment of the city. I'm not going to ask you to sacrifice yourselves. If we can do this without you coming into as little harm as possible, I would prefer to do so. I will accept the distraction and the opportunity to take them in that by surprise. If that is a plan you wish to move with, I will help you and provide you the resources to do so.
Edwin, Why are we not leveraging the sheriff?
Because the prince asked me to handle this because it is my affair.
So he has left you out to hang.
It was the arrangement that I made with him and the prince before him. As long as my affairs do not endanger the city, I am free to do my work with the broker. But the moment that it becomes a detriment, it is not their responsibility to protect me. And these are the terms I agreed to before taking my position.
I see.
But I will not have anyone that is not willing. I will not force anyone to assist me. This is my bed, and I have to lie in it. But if you were to help me, I will pay back.
This is far too interesting not to keep an eye on. At the very least, having some eyes looking around won't do much harm, I think.
I will say the broker is an individual that doesn't hurt to have as an ally. But again, that is the most I can offer.
Well, if I'd be so bold, it's okay. Pretty sure most of us thought there was no harm in having the Keeper of Elysium as an ally either. Just to play devil's advocate.
Point well made. As I said, I don't blame anyone for wishing to walk away from this. I could provide you a place where you can stay until either I or Rutgers are removed from the area.
What about our assets? The ones that they have an eye on.
We have an eye on them as well.
I think I have something that will guarantee my full desire to assist. Do you know of any way to help Mr. Halden's Mina in this endeavor?
That would be the most difficult part of this. But I do have an agent that's pretty good at moving unseen. And very quickly.
Well,
If
then,
they have
could...
Go ahead.
Oh, no, please, keep right in. Interrupt.
If we can move quickly enough and things go according to plan, they might be able to swoop in and assist with grabbing Nina.
Well, that's enough for me. Consider my eyes your eyes, Mr. Kane.
I believe you've already met the individual. They came with you they guided you to Benjamin's Haven to begin with.
Do we know where this exchange is going to happen?
No, it's going to have to be a communication between Matthew and the individual on the other end of the line.
That's why I asked Nick to find me a place.
The moment I have phone access, man.
Your assets, well, I wouldn't recommend you necessarily going back to your homes at the moment. Your assets are guarded. They're not going to attack with the amount of people we have, at least at the moment. They may bolster and become more emboldened. But you should have a small amount of time before we make any move. If you have a body that is close to my general appearance, you can stake the body, send the photo, and arrange for a meet. that should be good enough to get us to this next stage. At that point, prepare. But I would hear everyone's input on this.
I'll assist for a life boon.
Well, Duncan seems to have gotten himself in this mess, and I know he would do that for me, so I'll do that for him. You don't owe me anything, Edwin, of course. Maybe perhaps you could give me a chance to look at some of your personal collection sometime, though. That would, just add a little to it. But
More than fair.
Biggie?
Not going to give such a simple answer as a life boon, Mr. Kane. Instead, first of all, I want you to survive long enough to pay the debts. Second, I need to find some answers on a couple things, and I want to make sure there's no more obfuscation getting those answers. Can that be agreed upon?
You want me to let go of the only thing that is keeping me from the influence
I'm not
of
going
some
to
of the more
go.
powerful people in the city?
I'm not going to go with that. Things work out in time when it comes to certain things. More, I'm tired of playing ring around the rose. I'm tired of those spiders, those webs, little shadows.
You in the wrong game, buddy.
Give me charisma persuasion. Considering the weight of what you're asking for, I'll give you another die.
I'm gonna specify. He's not asking him to give up the ring.
You are not asking for him to give you the ring at the moment, but you are hinting that the ring is directly what you're referencing, because that's the only thing that is protecting you. And you said you don't want that to be a hindrance anymore, meaning contextually the only thing that's a hindrance to is you're trying to spy on him.
We're trying to get answers from him, but I understand. I'm going to search. Shut up. I'm going to spend a willpower.
Yeah, go for it.
Yep, just 2 successes.
What do you know about this ring?
Not enough. Okay. More than anything, though, it seems more than what it does for you. Mr. Kane is what it obfuscates from me. Not in terms of trying to watch you, but what apparently has been stolen.
The ring has had no such impact on you.
We are surrounded by a million strings, Mr. Kane. And I have unraveled so many already. But that is not a lot of trouble untying. If you don't want to give the ring, I can certainly understand. But I don't wish to ask a question. And as long as it's not, a danger to us, the city, being lied to. I do not seek your death, Mr. Kane. I don't even seek to harm you or have ill feelings towards you. But I have a lot to look into now.
What do you remember?
Up in New York, there was a seer. That seer has been annoyingly blind far too long.
So are you still going by Nicholas, or should I be calling you Linden?
Depends on my mood. But either works. Right now, you can call me Linden.
After this meeting is over, I would like to speak to you.
As you wish.
Now, I've heard from a few of you. Grei, Matthew.
I just want Mina. I don't give a shit about boons right now. I just want Mina safe. And however we can do that, it's fine by me.
I would like that life boon and whatever assets they have within the area. I am not very familiar with these people that I have been, no offense, dragged into this with. But I would rather them not try and attack me again. And I would like to squeeze out the remains of their influence within the area, if possible.
I do not have the... Once this is dealt with and they are pushed away, I'm certain the broker will claim those assets. However, considering the assistance in the matter, I'm certain that could be arranged. I am afraid I cannot make you that promise, but I will negotiate on your behalf.
Thank you.
What kind of business does a broker do, Edwin? You said information, but is that it?
At its base, he is an information broker. He buys and sells secrets. And he has many. But he also has a relative control about the moving of items, some criminal elements. He has some influence over the underbelly of the city. Not having his own army, I've stated before, he's not quite the movement of the cartel, but members of the cartel work for him, do things for him. Not so much of a faction himself as much as a significant amount of influence and pull.
And you are personally indebted to him.
I am. As much as I am as, well, almost as indebted as I was to Prince Isabel.
This ends likely in destruction. By what right do we have that?
The prince has given us the We've been told to deal with the situation. However, you are correct. The words, the right of destruction, would not.
You have told me I was doing things for the prince in the past.
I didn't trust you. And I was wrong for that.
I'm having a hard time trusting you.
And that's why I'm not telling you now that we can just do that. I understand the position I put you in. And the fact that you have stood by me at this point.
You are my favorite, Edwin. Smile again.
The fact that you have stood by me at this point and haven't taken these things to the prince or made any, at least to my knowledge, acts against me. I was wrong to mistrust you. I will not tell you that you can go openly kill this individual, but I will see if I can gain that permission. And if not, I won't ask you to do the deed. I will take the weight of committing that sin. Is that acceptable?
And if they have created children, who takes the weight of their deaths? And if it comes to violence, you can't be in every place at once.
No, I can't. Ideally, you will have grabbed Mina and fled. In the initial confusion of the encounter. Again, I'm not going to ask you to fight. I didn't want you dragged into this.
As long as we understand those terms. No destruction. Not from me. It is not my right.
I won't ask you to do it again. Benjamin discovered my connection. And I asked you to destroy him out of a sense of panic. And that was wrong of me.
Is this why he called you a liar?
It is.
Carved it in your chest. But we're all liars, Edwin.
That we are.
Sometimes we have to trust.
And I'm choosing to do that now.
Okay, yeah. What's an insight? Is he lying through this conversation?
Give me what's insight.
Well, Bear,
Sorry,
may I as well?
go for it.
I'll take that too.
Yeah.
Sophie just trusts him.
I appreciate that.
Sophie hasn't been screwed over by him yet.
3.
I got another one to spin. I'm gonna spend a willpower. I got 5 successes.
I have got an unfixable messy crit.
How does this keep happening to you?
2 tens
Oh,
on
man.
both dice.
Love that. You're feeling a bit peckish as you take the hunger compulsion. Okay. And how much was that crit? What is it?
Did you say 4?
Okay. I like that you only got successes on the blood
Exactly.
test. That's wonderful.
Nice.
Went to go roll. I'm going to spend a willpower. No, I'm not.
I mean, you could spend a willpower to make it worse.
Yeah, I could have just tried to crit fish, but why would I do that?
Okay.
I mean, now seems like a good reason.
So Maggie and Nick. Edwin seems to be honest. He is very forthcoming with the information that he's giving. Seems you read this as a situation of we're at a point that deception will not get me anywhere. Bellatrix and Maggie. You do get the same kind of vibe. You can tell. I'll say with your rolls, you can tell that there seems to be something that is still hidden here. He is not. I will say with the crit, you also gain that something is being hidden here, but you can tell that that thing being hidden is of a personal nature. Not so much the words that he's saying. But it is likely that if that personal information were revealed, he's a little worried about how that will be received. Is what you'll get with the crit. Otherwise, you can tell he's holding something back, but what he's saying is genuine. He does. I'll say with your insight as well, you can tell he does feel like he's backed in a corner and has to make a choice. But the world's genuine. Okay, that was well.
As long as you're willing to provide the boon afterwards, then I will help. But only under the conditions that we outlined.
More than fair. I will agree to the idea of the distraction. And I will try to see if I can get the particular right. Depending on where this sets up. They're not likely to know meet in the city. I don't think we want to go too far out. I don't think we want to head out and meet them in Tampa. But perhaps the neutral zone?
See what I can find.
Very useful. Neutral zone.
Edwin, odd question.
Sure.
You wouldn't have any body bags, would you?
I think that could be arranged.
Just that if they're watching us now to sell this, we're going to need to carry a body out. Or to make it look like I'm carrying a body out.
They likely won't be able to reach the Elysium. As I said, everything is pretty focused on right now, and security is on high alert here at the Dolly.
Fair. Contingencies.
Understood.
Would it be possible, when we have this meetup, to bring along a couple of blood bags or maybe some rabbits? In case Duncan is injured and needs sustenance?
As I said, you will have my resources at your disposal. You will be supplied. Bring me a list of what you need, and I'll see to it that you have it, as long as it's not going to be too noisy.
Suppose then we need to make preparations.
I don't know when it is they'll make another move. So, I think taking your picture, preparing it, trying to not make it as perfectly clear as you can, but still clear enough to give the impression that it is made, will buy you time.
Question. Is there anything we could add to the body to make aura, like, I don't know, just a touch of uranium in there? It'll mess with cameras or things. I mean, might give us a little bit of an edge, or maybe they'll be a little less immediately knowing that it's just a dead human.
Nick, do you have a time
He
machine?
takes his cane and sets it on the table. You may take this.
Nick will actually reach out. Linden will reach out, grab it, and for a moment place his hand on it like he's going to use it. No, it doesn't feel quite right. And then slides it back over to Sophie and Matt.
I am going to, he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a piece of paper, flicks a pen from his breast pocket and writes down a number. This is the phone number of Kahil Maktir. Since my assistant turns out to have betrayed me, this would be my point of contact. I will stay hidden, but still move around the resources that are needed. You can contact him and he will contact me. When the time is right, we will prepare the ambush. I need to speak with Mr. Baldridge. I do appreciate the trust that you're putting in my hands, and I will not betray that.
But he will get up and make his way to the door.
I'll stand and make my way to the door as well.
I will follow suit.
Maggie will look over to Sophie. Do you mind if I carry that? Cane.
Oh yes, I have no interest in that.
Thank you. She will take it and walk out.
Matt will go to get up and leave, and then he'll turn back around. Can I have a steak?
Can you get a steak?
I'm gonna need it for the body.
Yes, sure. I'll see to it that you have one freely.
Thank you. And he'll walk out.
Everybody's left. He turns to Nicholas. You came to me roughly 15 years ago while we were in Tampa. We need to have a talk. And we're going to go to break. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, and welcome back. Last we left off, they were discussing, well, negotiating, rather, how moving forward with Edwin would work, what it's going to look like. However, as the rest of the group broke away, Edwin asked to speak with Nick. Roughly 15 years ago, I was in Tampa and you came to see me. Your name at the time you called me, when you spoke to me, was Linden Carlisle. You found out about my affiliation with an individual that you had, well, the broker, an individual you had had some dealings with while in Chicago. I'm not sure how much you remember. Saying certain things could be difficult. I don't know much more than that.
Fascinating.
What I do have. You came to me, and this has been driving me up a wall for the better part of 15 years, especially since I was then assigned to working with you. You were Linden Carlisle when you came to speak with me, and you apparently had something that you were trying to hide. You said somebody was after you, looking for you, and it was important that you were never found. You told me to act as though I never met you. But should you ever announce yourself or reveal that you were Carlisle in some capacity, that I would be to give this to you. And he reaches into his breast pocket and he pulls out his wallet. He opens it, reaches into the back of it, and pulls out a folded piece of parchment and hands it over to you.
Nick will take it. Before he opens it, he's going to use Spirit's Touch on it.
I wouldn't even make you roll for it.
Okay.
You use this ability. You sense an extreme sense of fear and dread.
All right. He will open it. Well,
When you open it, you
Let's see.
see a small scribble. What looks like a child drawing of themselves with their parent. Kind of stick imagery. The kid has these kind of large glasses on. They're standing next to a car. Big, bright yellow sun in the corner. Simple, square house. And he's holding hands with a taller individual who looks like they drew them to kind of look like they're wearing a suit, but it's very crudely situated. When that happens, please give me a composure and resolve.
risk a blood search.
Mm-hmm.
For hunger.
4 hunger.
Mm-hmm. As an unavoidable messy crit on 7 successes.
Great. Dominance compulsion. You have this moment where you feel something manifesting in your own head upon looking at this image. You begin to, again, snap back into that old house. And you're beginning to see the door with Linden's name beginning to obscure again. It's being taken away from you. You have a choice here because you got the crit. Do you allow this to happen? Or do you force it open? No XP expenditure, the choice is yours. You rolled high enough that you can make the decision.
You said there was nothing but fear and dread touching the letter, right? The child wore glasses in the picture. The man did not.
The man had glasses, yes.
With a growl, Linden reaches out and grasps at the door. No, you don't. He's not letting go.
You force and resist the effect from taking hold as you maintain the memories you've already gained. And you begin to see with this action some of the spaces that were in this house previously blocked off the barrier seems to be weakened with this decision. You snap back. Give me a wits and insight.
Four successes.
You are not sure fully, but it seems as though, I will say with wits and insight, you can tell that a submerge directive was tied to you ever seeing that image.
Let's see. Interesting to not know myself. Mr. Kane, give me another. Give me a spare cane. I don't feel right without one.
I don't keep spare canes, I'm afraid, but I'm sure you can get one.
No, there's certainly a stick with an Elysium, Mr. Kane. Surely one of your assistants could get it. Oh, right, you killed one. Interesting, that little bit. Quite the expression on your face. I didn't think you so, well, as I said, wrathful. Was it close?
I didn't invite you here to talk about my personal affairs. I'm completing the task you gave me 15 years ago.
Yes, I suppose you are. Did I gave you this, correct?
You did?
Was it already sealed, or did I seal it in front of you?
It was already closed. When I saw you next, you were going by Nicholas Baldridge.
Well, for better or for worse, it seems I've subverted my own plans. I still intend for you to hold up your end of the bargain. I will give you appreciation for filling this, but I still will need more answers. Don't die on me, Mr. Kane. It'd be such a waste.
I will do what I can.
I will see about lending my talents to making sure you stay safe and unharmed in whatever endeavor we do. I do wish to see to Matthew's little Mina, but I do need you alive, so you're the priority.
As long as we end the issue with Chicago, and I pay my debts back to your coterie.
You said that I was acting with the broker?
You had apparently met the broker in Chicago.
See. Fascinating.
Not the individual themselves necessarily, but you were in communication with the network.
Yes. I see. Must have been something terrifying indeed. In fact, I think it will be prudent that you are around because if I wanted to make sure I couldn't remember, clearly something very dangerous indeed is coming to this fair city. So, use a fellow eye. Try not to get yours plucked out.
I will do that. Are you well?
It's just a lot. Just a lot. Also, no. We're going to have plenty of conversations, you and I, Mr. Kane. Thank you again. But there's so much more to do. You'll be a good lad. I'm going to have to go.
He nods, and then you leave.
Actually, before he walks out, he'll turn back. Oh, one more thing, Edwin. I don't give a shit about your past, what you do, how you think it, however things go. Don't lie to me again, sir. We both know I'll see through it. And it'll just get in the way of everything.
He doesn't say anything.
He'll wink, ta-ta! And he will head out and immediately go hunting.
Well, before you do, you will meet up with everybody outside on the Elysium grounds. The scene is yours for a moment. It is private out here and Masquerade safe. The scene is yours.
Matt, do you have plans later tonight? Immediately after wherever we're going from here, do you have plans after this?
Not at the moment. Why?
I'd like to stop by and make that pickup.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it. We are going to get her, you know that.
Yes, we are. And I don't care what it takes. She's I dare say, even though I don't know the significance, I think I'll be ballsy enough to say she's probably as important to me as the thing I did for you was. Just my luck. Can't be her. Couldn't be Louis, could it? No. Of course, if it was Louis, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I'd let the piece of it die.
I think that's the point. You care about her.
I used to care about him. Being isn't going to get us anywhere, though. So focus. We'll get her back. And then hell, we'll go dancing.
I like the sound of that.
I get it, Grei. Get it. I don't know what these people are capable of. Obviously, you are familiar.
Not familiar. I just that never goes well.
You were familiar enough with them to show a room full of people, one of the cockiest pretty boys I've ever met, to literally freak out.
That's just me. I mean,
yeah, and when we watched you do that, we know it's not a good thing. It happened once before. And yeah, so I'm not disregarding what you had to say. I know you don't want any of us to die. I know you don't want Edwin to die.
it's worse than death. Let me be clear about that. Death, sometimes, dealing with those who are old, would be a release. They don't have to let you go. Not unless someone else can make them.
In this instance, I agree with Grei. These people in particular, sometimes death isn't the worst outcome.
I know it's a false equivalence, but I used to deal with much older gentlemen, money and power and influence. Me and that girl, the way we danced with them, they practically threw their money at us. Now, yes, they got a little more, ass behind them on what they can do. We don't know what they can do. But you know what they are more than anything? Cocky. Because they think just because they're older and yes, possibly stronger, that they're going to win every time. Oh. If I can make every one of their house of cards tumble, you bet your ass I will do it. Even if she wasn't involved. I don't like cocky assholes. Except for you, of course, Greg. Love you.
Nick will walk in. 52 card pickup. Good game.
It's not Blanche this time, so...
No, it's not, but I would say, be remiss in saying that affair is completely handled. My apologies, I know it's disconcerting.
So do you have a name?
Technically, it's still Nicholas Baldridge. No, at this point, I mean, Edwin gave up the game. I'm also known as Linden Carl.
So this is Linden.
It's both Linden and... As I said, depends on the mood.
You know, they say you never trust a man with two first names.
Not a bad piece of advice.
You must never.
So who knows?
Matt's gonna put his hand on Gray's shoulder. My middle name is Jordan, and walk away. He's going to walk over to Sophie. Apologies. I was in a weird place, and I never actually introduced myself. And it'll put out his hand. Matthew.
Sophie will slide her cupped hand into his.
Oh my god, she's real. Nick, you made a friend.
He just hums Modern Major General.
Yes, I'm Sophie.
I was beginning to wonder if she was just a figment of all of our imaginations because Nick wished really hard.
Wanted to get rid of me, of course.
Nah, I met her before. Minus neck. Din.
Whichever you feel like saying.
Lickolas.
Nicholas.
Lickolas.
Nicholas?
I like that one.
How about no?
Still the White Knight.
Who's to say?
You're to say.
We'll keep it a plot twist.
Green Knight, then.
Ooh, that's a good one. I need an onion.
Pretty sure Walmart is open 24 hours.
Their supplies for art stuff not as great as it used to be.
Well, it's the Dear Wally world, of course it's not.
So is everybody moving, or we just gonna ignore Edwin's suggestion?
Yes, about that. I was wondering if there were any safe place we could possibly retire to.
Yes, the safe place. Nick, the safe place. I'm sorry. Nicholas, the safe place.
Oh, you mean the place that I actually didn't tell her where it was?
Thank God for that. Told her almost everything else, apparently.
I will not lie, there was a very strong connection. And now that I know what it led to, I can see why. But I apologize, I know I gave away too much.
I will not lie, I want to hit you with the car.
punch buggy, no punch back.
All right, quick vote. Yay or nay? The safe place. Bella? Whether or not we should take Sophie there.
Sure. I'm not even sure if it's compromised or not, so why not?
Well, I did reiterate to Miss Clews that any such actions would, of course, be remiss on the rest of you deciding to do so. And I look at Sophie. And Miss Clews, I do know for a fact I made that very clear.
Yes, you did.
Okay, don't be remiss in saying the thing, my qualifiers, Miss Clews.
Matt? Yay or nay?
Like Bella said, we don't know if the place has already been compromised or not. We don't know how long they're watching us. So, sure, why not?
And Nick, I suppose you're already spoken for when it does.
Well, I was going to put up my business as a place instead of the actual Coterie Haven.
But that's not actually the safe place, is it?
But it's also not the Coterie's Haven. I am of the mind that Miss Clews is very useful, and there has been quite a lot tying her to this situation. So, keeping her alive does benefit us. Not to mention that her vernacular is as refreshing as it is adorable.
Okay. Then, I suppose my answer is no.
Okay, I will say, with Grei saying no, it is worth considering. Do we have another option to help Miss Clews?
Well,
Didn't Mr. Kane offer to house us during this time?
I believe he did, which does make it a viable possibility.
He
That's
offered
certainly
a
the
great
one that I'm
many
going to be
things.
taking. I'm sorry.
He offered
Oh.
a great many things. Whether or not those are actually true is another thing entirely. I don't mean to throw disparaging comments his direction, but we have had experience with past having some holes.
I
And
see.
I think, as he demonstrated tonight, his organization an informant to Sophie. So take whatever he's offering there with a grain of salt.
well, I'll be at asylum, probably with Sarah.
And Sophie, you're lovely. And I want to think that you're doing this because, well,
You're caught
you
up in
have
it.
a vested interest. But I'm not sure which direction you're vested in.
I think
Yes,
Grei has. Go ahead.
Bella, I understand we may not be able to visit your shop at the moment, but I would love to have a conversation with you. somewhere.
She'll reach into like a little purse she's carrying and pull out a like flyer for asylum. You can find me here.
Thank you. I will meet you there at some point tonight. But for now, I think I must put some things in order. Thank you. And Sophie will start walking off.
Maggie will head in the direction of the hearse, kind of twirling the cane around her fingers, looking down at it curiously.
Based on the information that we have tonight, I have some personal items that I want
You're cutting up.
before someone breaks into my place. Take something they shouldn't. So I'll catch up with the rest of you later.
Yes, I'm rather peckish, so I feel I must tend to that. Matt, how's a good third plan you came up with?
Yeah, no, apparently I'm working on a wire.
Well, it's something. Can't exactly go around.
I
think it's the best.
I have some things I also have to take care of. Obviously.
Oh, I do believe that settles it. I have some conversations to have myself with a certain someone.
Does anybody else miss the conspiracy theorist, Nick? I would really like you back right now. This, I just don't.
Oh, the conspiracy's still there, Matthew. I just happen to be standing on the central lip of it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Toodaloo.
St. Petersburg by Night is brought to you through collaboration with our partnered vendors, Wolfpack Dice, Ember Fox Dice, Dragon Ink Dice, Barra the Bard, Champs Tramps, Panchi Artista, and Chromatic Creations. Links to our partnered vendors, as well as our Twitch and YouTube channels, can be found on our website, stpetebynight.com. The official theme song for St. Petersburg by Night is Vampire by Faith and Failure. You can find them at faithandfailure.com. You can follow SPbN on all socials with the hashtag StPeteByNight. If you wish to support our program, you can do so at ko-fi.com/StPeteByNight to help keep the stories rolling.
You all break away. Tending to your personal business. Quickly as you can manage, you prepare the body, you stake it. Matthew takes the image and sends it to the unnamed individual. Nick has found a location. Now I'm going to ask this question. In regarding the location where this meetup will be, would you have chosen, and this can be kind of a above table conversation here, would you have chosen to have the meeting force their hand and have them come into Camaria territory? Would you try to get them to go into the neutral territory? Or would you meet them in Tampa?
I would prefer the neutral territory,
I was gonna
honestly.
say
Yeah, neutral sounds best.
neutral territory would be better because
We
they
can
would
get
be
away with
leery-
shit.
They would be leery coming into Cam territory. We'd be leery as hell going into Tampa. Neutral, it would be somewhat okay for the both of us. So yeah, neutral.
You will have arranged to meet with them to bring Edwin a week from the time you got sent that photo. As the next week passes, you tend to your own things. We're going to pick up one night that week with Bellatrix and Sophie. Sophie coming to Asylum at the invitation of Bellatrix. You find the brick and mortar building, step inside. Bellatrix, I will let you control the scene at this point.
Okay. As usually described, Asylum is a crazy mix of industrial, alternative style. Like, there seems to be a very industrial, like, literally, like, industrial, like, tools and such are part of the decoration. The music usually switches, but Bella will take you up to one of the VIP rooms on the second floor and have you sit down. It's easier to talk here.
Yes, hello, Bella. I have brought a gift for you, and I want to emphasize that this is a gift that's quite a bit different than what I give to Edwin. This is from my personal collection, and she'll hand you over a book that says on it, The Book of Tea.
Bella will take it and flip through it. It's very lovely. Thank you.
Yes, I think you would appreciate the philosophy in that. Edition. I must ask a favor. I also do not really quite trust perhaps the competencies of Edwin in keeping things safe. In terms of things have already been snatched. The depiction of what has happened to Edwin by this apparent other person that your coterie dealt with. So I'm not sure if it's the safest place, but I do not want to endanger my own little nook. So while I know that this safe haven of your coterie is not available, I was wondering if you had perhaps another option that I could partake in.
Well, I'm currently staying here for now. Kind of close with the owner, so it's helpful. I don't have a place of my... I mean, I believe my own place is about as compromised as yours is.
If you don't have that available, that is perfectly fine. Maybe perhaps you could help me in a different avenue. I would really like to meet with the Oracle.
The Oracle?
Yes.
Wait, are you a Malkavian?
Oh, I'm new.
You're one of us?
Oh, I think we are like kindred spirits.
It's okay to talk here. Wave to the VIP room.
Yes, I mean that,
We're family? Cousins?
Maybe, yes. I feel like, a connection to you and to,
Nicholas?
yes. Although that's a bit vulgar, I don't think I would use that term. But whoever he is, I will be honest. Duncan gave me quite a lot of very useful information, in the time that I've been with him, but certain terms weren't necessarily useful at the time, and he had to leave quite quickly. So some of these terms I'm not all quite familiar with, but yes, I feel that, and Edwin did mention that our connections might help facilitate seeing the Oracle, and suggested I saw the Oracle.
Okay. I can arrange it. Also, I am teaching another. Perhaps I can teach you some of the terms you're not familiar with.
That'd be wonderful.
Excellent. The Oracle, also known as Charlie, usually by family like us, actually comes here a lot, but I can get in contact with her and arrange a meeting. Is this an official Camarilla type meeting, or less official hanging out type meeting?
Yes, I suppose it should be official. That would be appropriate in society.
Fair. Alright. She doesn't really, just so you know, doesn't really, adhere to what society views as good or proper.
Alright, my mother used to go by Charlie, actually.
She likes
but her name was Charlotte, so I can understand sometimes wanting to break out of society.
Mm-hmm. This is gonna be fun. She's a lot of fun.
Yes, well,
I'll arrange something. I'll get in contact with her.
Thank you for that, and thank you for your time. I do appreciate it. Now, if you'll forgive me, I'll have to go find a safe place. So,
sorry, I couldn't be more help on that. I don't have.
No, you are wonderful.
If it was my place, I'd offer, but best not. Best not. No.
Yes. Well, bonne nuit, and she will curtsy and leave.
Bonne nuit.
As Sophie leaves, what's on her mind?
Sophie is a little concerned about her safety, particularly. She's also very worried about the longer that they take to enact this plan, the longer that Duncan is in danger, and the less chances are that he will be unharmed or safe.
As Sophie leaves, what's on Bellatrix's mind?
I don't think they're going to make a move on anyone else until either Matt takes too long or Matt gets back to them and they're unsatisfied. Hoping that they can get the camera angles right and the body actually works out. Sophie's interesting.
happy to know she's one of us. She suspected, but wasn't quite sure. And as for the ring, that could go either way. Already knows she's going to have to stay until everything's handled, to keep an eye on Edwin, because if he dies and she doesn't get the ring, that's a problem. So watch him either grab the ring if he dies, or if he ends up coming back and things go well, using the life boon.
From there, you shift to Matt's studio. Grei arrives at the studio. I'll go ahead and give you the scene there with a knock at the door.
Gray's already there. Gray's. Matt, when he arrives, he'll just quietly, not really speaking to him directly, but he'll just kind of motion over to a painting he's got that's covered, and he'll just hold out his hand and look at Grei. She's fierce.
Before I pull this down, I have full faith in your abilities. I want you to understand that I know I know I was harsh the other night and overbearing and loud. The truth. Elders scare me. The things they can do scare me. But I'm gonna stare at the cupboard. Gone up against an by myself. So get it.
Matt's gonna just kind of nod and walk away out of view for a minute.
He'll down the sheet covering.
Matthew, please describe the painting.
It's an older looking woman. She's in an old style dress similar to what she was wearing in the photo that Grei had given him. She's sitting on a stone retaining wall, and behind her is a large bush of bright red roses behind her.
Stare at it for a long. He will stare at it for, and when he turns around, his rimmed red. No tears.
Matt will come back in around the corner a few moments later, holding what looks like an old picture in his hand. And he'll kind of stop and just watch Grei for a minute. Wow, is it that bad? I'm sorry, I could have done better.
It's not bad, Matt. It's better than good. You never had one. Was one. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad I could bring her to you. And he will hold out the photo.
Grei will take it back and slip it back into his.
And then he will take another photo that he has and hold it up for Grei to see. And it'll be a much younger looking Matt, just smiling bright. Broad daylight. Next to him, on his right, is a dark-haired woman, probably early 20s. And next to her will be another gentleman with short, sandy blonde hair. And they're all just smiling like nothing in the world could ever ruin this moment. And he'll hold it in a way where he just taps the picture of the girl. I just need you to help me bring her back to me.
Whatever it takes. I'm going to make sure that you get her back. Not just because of this no gesture painting. Because I know how this feels. Tap his chest.
Wow.
So, fuck Edwin. This isn't about Edwin. This is about me now. She's the priority.
Don't get it twisted, Grei. I like Edwin. If I have to choose between the two of them, he will be an afterthought. He will be a cliff note. But if I can get them both out, I will try. But if I have to choose, there's no way in hell I am choosing anyone but her.
If it comes down to it, and you have to choose between one of us, you better damn well get her.
put it to you this way. Because of him, and he'll move his finger over to the other gentleman, I chose to spend 8 very long years in a very dank prison over making her suffer. So, you damn well are sure none of you are more important to me than she is.
Good.
I will.
No apologies.
I will mourn you.
No, you won't. You will actually laugh pretty heartily. You'll remember me, but you won't mourn me.
Yeah. Who the hell am I going to do stupid shit with? Definitely not Nick. Not unless he changes back. I would pick Blanche over whatever the hell that is right now.
Nicholas.
I am not calling him that.
Oh, come on. It's good.
Sounds like I should have a disclaimer.
Family looks after family. I've said it before. You're my family.
She was as close as I was ever going to get.
It's not done yet. It's not over yet. Don't think like that.
Oh, no. That part of me is over. Now. Now is the part where I flex a little more.
So, after we get her, there's going to be a problem.
In my understanding, if we get her out and leave anybody left, it's going to be a problem.
She's going to see things she should.
I'll see about taking care of that. I can do it to a point, but I'm going to need something with a little more longevity.
Bella's pretty good. In the short time that this should take, she might be able to take care of it.
And if we get through this and Edwin stays above ground, maybe he can help in some way.
I hope he can. Especially if they've already shown her things that she shouldn't know. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yes, we will.
Grei will turn and look back at the painting.
What is on Grei's mind?
He wishes she had been alive to see this. Wishes Matt said that he spent 8 years, and he wishes that he did not make the choices that led to the last 18. Only to hear her expire on her side. And he's not going to let that happen to Mina. Matt doesn't need to go through that.
What about Matthew?
He is trying to keep it together, and it's just every day that passes and nothing's getting done. He's getting more and more frustrated, but he's trying because he cannot unravel or things will go wrong. He would absolutely go and do this himself if he could get away with it. He knows if he does that, he won't survive. So he's trusting everyone to help and be there if he needs. And he's not having even the smallest flicker of regret in what he said to Grei. He meant every word of it. That if he has to choose between any of them, as far as they've come, he will not hesitate to put them in harm's way to get her safe. The downside of that is if he does have to do that, he needs to make sure she never finds out. Because she would not be okay with that. And at this point, he really doesn't care. But he doesn't want to hurt her.
As you navigate the remainder of the beat, we will shift to another scene. What does Maggie do in the city?
Maggie is... She is spending some time, probably remained on Elysium grounds, and is seeing about Jarvis, checking in on the mortuary, see how much cleanup has been done and what is being done with it. And she's probably staying near the body and staring down at the cane that was given to allegedly give this body a more aura of something like them.
Give me a...
She would be... Is this a Masquerade's safe place?
Where are you?
She is somewhere on Elysium grounds. Probably
I'd say
wherever they store the bodies.
Yeah. You would be given access to space that would be safe to navigate.
Okay. She's going to activate Sense the Unseen and Oblivion Sight.
Go ahead and give me intelligence investigation. And I'll take those into account.
Okay. And a blood surge. I got 6 successes.
Looking over the cane, it is a sword cane. Clearly very expensive, very fine material. The handle of the cane at a distance, usually hard to see. Edwin's hand is always pretty much covering it. But now that you're getting a close inspection of it, it appears to be kind of a bronze head with a kind of sculpted to look like a curved cello for the hand rests. When you open and draw the blade, you see the words engraved on the blade very finely, always miserable.
And those are in English?
They're actually in Latin. It translates to always miserable.
Okay. Is there anything strange further about that?
How many successes was it?
6.
Right. You notice underneath the cello, on the base of it, or rather the body of the cello, there is written kind of like a signature, just the letter, the cursive "it." You don't detect anything supernatural about it, but this clearly wasn't his cane. At least, didn't used to be his cane, more accurately.
Okay. Does the always miserable in Latin have any pertinence to anything?
I will let you make a roll. We'll do intelligence and academics.
Okay. Does her research specialty come into play?
Wait a second. Do occult.
Occult. Okay. Spending a willpower.
Mhm.
Alright, that is 4 successes.
Well, 4 successes, I'll say you're able to connect a couple dots. Clearly, Edwin has some kind of connection in Chicago. After doing a little bit of digging, you find that there is there was a music somebody pretty relevant to a music scene in Chicago sometime back by the name of Misery. That's the only moniker you're able to find, and you're able to get much detail just looking into it, generally speaking. But maybe that's a connection.
Okay. She will put the sword back into its cane sheath and set it down next to the body and take a look around the area that they're in. And does she see any spirits on the grounds of Elysia, or is it pretty heavily warded?
It still has the wording pretty strong here. Yeah, you can't really see any spirits connected to any of the places here they've not been able to access, so likely stuck on the border of the grounds.
Okay. Then she will get her pair of sunglasses and head out to go find a window. She wants to see how many things are trying to get in.
You see there are quite a few shapes. Kind of almost like projecting on an invisible wall. Just shadows seeming to kind of creep across around the grounds of Elysium. Almost pacing.
Okay. She will look around at all of them. Looks like there's quite a bit of work to do. She'll deactivate her Oblivion Sight.
What's on Maggie's mind with everything that's happened over the last week?
She's irritated. The place that she had pretty much decided where she was going to start making a haven was lit on fire. She's met a lot of new interesting kindred, but they all have a lot of baggage. But that's kind of the nature of kindred. And she thinks Edwin is very shady for a seemingly honest man, but he doesn't really have many choices other than to help them right now. So she is trusting his desperation, but not him as a person. She thinks the coterie is interesting, but that has a lot of its own dangers. And she's looking to have her own start. Because seems like there's a lot of places where she could start.
As we move from there, where do we find Nicholas this evening?
Nick is just getting back to Cigar Stag with Alex after having fed a bit further out than he usually does. And they are going up to the office space. Nick will lead in, grabbing one of his reserves. And as he goes to sit down, his hand naturally goes as if to fold over something in front of him and then pull away. And then, with an eye twitch, he'll look at Alex. Sit down, Alexander.
He pauses hard at the use of the full name before taking a seat.
Already giving me answers. Good. So, naturally, I can only assume that there's certain things that I have told you not to tell me. At least if I'm positing, I guess, my friend. Especially considering that I didn't want to tell me things. Tell me if I'm starting to get a bit close.
Not sure what you're talking about. He signs.
What's an insight?
Go for it.
And thankfully we fed. He ain't been up a shit. Blood searching. Spending a willpower. Jiminy Christmas. That's 4 successes.
There seems to be, with this confrontation, a very clear hesitation. There's almost an exhaustion that seems to come over Alex. But he is hiding something.
Do it. Alex. I can still feel that hatred, those preconceptions in me, and I don't want to let them go. I like who I've become, Alexander. I don't want that to change just because I'm searching for answers. But I have to have answers. I am asking you to just let go of what you can let go. I can read you. I can see something hidden. Please.
Some things are best left buried.
Apparently that was what I thought as well. I don't think that at the moment. Give me something, Alex.
What is your name?
Linden Carlisle.
Alex stands up. He walks to the other side of the office and kind of, his back turned to you, stares at the wall for a moment. You see him. Give me what's an insight.
Yeah, I will also say Nick is looking
Actually,
at
perception, not insight, perception. Or awareness.
Awareness. May I put instincts into this? Linden is keeping an eye on what he's doing with his weapon.
Mhm.
Okay. That is an 8 with a crit.
You see him tapping his finger on the wall, and very faintly, it sounds hollow behind the wall. And then he clenches his fist and he turns back around. He's dropped us. Leave it alone.
And what will you do if I don't?
I can only do what I promised.
This doesn't threaten just me, does it? And obviously, if it threatens me, it threatens you, but I think you know what I mean.
He is staring. Reading his expression, he has dropped the sense of panic. He's dropped the sense of unease. It is shifted. It is very cold. It is very direct.
It's come to that, hasn't it? I feel like my hands should be holding something. I don't know why. I want to posit that I should be holding a cane. Maybe a necklace. The cigar feels right. But something's missing. I felt that thing planted in my mind fail. I pushed it back, Alex. How close is his hands to his gun?
Nowhere near. I mean, it's like a moment away, but he doesn't appear to be ready to draw it. Or moving to draw it, rather. But he does seem ready to do something.
Linden will get up. I can't trust anyone. Fine. Who I want to be is going to get into in my way. And who I need to be will have to be the answer.
To clarify, you are determining to get more answers with this statement?
He is determining that if Alex might be an enemy, he will be an enemy.
In that moment, Alex spins around. You see his hand punch through a weak spot in the wood, sling a panel out of the way as he spins around with a wooden crossbow. What do you do in this moment?
Can I say, because as I've made clear, Linden has truly been hyper aware of the tenseness and checking for weapons, that he's been scooting towards the door. And he
Okay.
will run.
Give me Dex and Athletics.
Can I utilize premonition to give me a better chance?
I think I will give you a die because of what you've already picked up right now, but no.
Okay, then I will blood search.
Now I'm going to take Alex's actual sheet to make a roll.
I am going to spend a willpower to crit fetch. That did shit. That's only 3.
A bolt sinks into the wall just a foot away from where your heart might be. You make it out the door and out toward the building. He does not pursue you to the street. Do you take a look? Do you take a glance back?
Right, his decision. All he thought he knew, and all he felt as his friend, he can't help but look back. He may be Linden, but he's also Nick.
As you look back, you see the window to your office open. You see the crossbow fly out, hook into the roof a little bit as he pulls himself up with little difficulty onto the roof. Watches you for a moment, and then takes off. And that is where we go into tonight's session. Thank you, everyone, for tagging along with this story so far, and we will see you in the next chapter.
This has been a St. Petersburg by Night production. Bloody Strings is produced in agreement with the World of Darkness and Dark Pack. The storyteller for Bloody Strings is Devlin. Tonight's characters were voiced by Kyrie, Noree, Lekar, Truckexe, MissyMew, and Kendall. Visit our website at stpbnynight.com for more information about all of our productions and how you can become part of our community. Thank you for listening. Until next time, fangs, stakes, and claws out.